When I started Asatru, I started it because Asatru, or Odinism, or the heathen Germanic path, was probably one of them that we had the most stuff to deal with. And you have to remember that all across Europe, Germanic blood flows, whether it's in Italy, Spain, all of these places, all the places where the Goths and Sarmatians and others conquered, they didn't leave after they came. So that blood is all there. The Celtic and the Germanic blood permeates Europe. So I looked upon Asatru as a Indo-European, Proto-Indo-European religion. Everything in it is very little different from what the Latin tribes believed in, or the Greeks, or Persians, or any of the other people, Indo-Europeans, including Hindus, for that matter, at least the Vedic ones. I principally looked upon Asatru as the best route, although today there's a burgeoning, a really growing Slavonic heathenism in Poland and Russia and other places. It's really taken off, probably because Christianity no longer had a hold upon the people to begin with after communism. So when these people began to look for something else, once communism had been removed, many of them are finding their way back to their ancestral beliefs. Within the corpus of heathen beliefs, the concept of time is far different from that of Christianity. Christianity, like Marxism and Judaism, is a linear thing. It's like everything is coming down a road towards some great finale. It's either going to be the workers' revolution or the day of the rapture or something. It's always just out ahead of the cart like a carrot. Within heathenism, we look upon life as the tree, and the roots of the tree are the past. Its branches are the present. The leaves that come forth and the flowering from the branches are the future. And every time we do a ritual, symbol, we are feeding the roots so that those roots can nourish the present and the future. It's a whole different time concept. This is an Indo-European time concept that's long been forgotten by most. So it's a completely different thing. We're not waiting for a grand finale. We're not waiting for the day the worker takes over everything, or Yahweh comes down from the sky, or something like that. Our thing is, if you feed the roots, the future will be healthy. So our toasts to the past have to do with the present and the future. Christianity is an alien religion that was foisted and forced upon Europeans. It wasn't the Lamb of God followers came and all the happy little children in the forest came out for the glad new tidings. Charlemagne beheaded something like 10,000 Saxon kings in Germany who refused to bow down to the new religion, who wanted to maintain their own tribal religions. It always came with a sword, and it was a real good gambit for power-hungry leaders and stuff, because it turned the people into sheep, into docile creatures afterwards. It beat them down, whereas our original heathen European roots, everything about them were to engender nobleness and courage and liberty, for that matter. They are from the inner planes of ourselves. They are the expression, the outward manifestations of who we are truly. Whereas this universalist religion coming from another stranger people in a stranger land has nothing to do with us. For us to live up to these admonitions of Christianity or anything else out of the Levant is insane. That's not who we are. That religion was not intended for us. It didn't come out of our souls, out of the crucible of our own souls and spirits. It was something that was oppressively applied to us. You see, there was never jihads or crusades carried on by Indo-Europeans predicated upon religion. No one ever made war over religious beliefs. Most wars were for territory, loot, all the basics of war, or out of vengeance or something to settle. Indo-European people did not try to convert other people to their religion, because your gods are your gods, or your power. You don't give them away to your enemies that you've defeated. Christianity is the only religion, when the West took it up, that not only robbed people, they went in there, they conquered the people, they stole their resources, raped their women, turned the natives into alcoholics and what have you, and then the missionaries came in there and stole their souls on top of it all. The only extant pieces of writing in the Gothic language were 4 of the epistles in the Bible. and they were quite instructive of how subversive they were. They had Jesus hanging from the world tree, being pierced in the side, and it was the whole Wotan story, except Jesus was substituted. The whole thing was like completely turned into a heathen thing. They doctored the epistles to read in that sense. Now, the Gothic language itself was absolutely beautiful to the ear. It had the beauty of Latin. If you've heard Latin, you know, Latin is a beautiful sounding language when it's read. But the only extant things of the Gothic language are these 4 epistles that were translated erroneously into Gothic in a manner to subvert the people there into believing this was somehow more or less the same religion they were into, you know. Whenever a religion begins to fall back upon fundamentalism, that marks the beginning of the end for them. And the same thing could probably be said for Islam, though it seems a lot more vibrant right now than Christianity does. But fundamentalism is the warning light that goes on, or the bell that rings. When people have to fall back on fundamentalism, it's a religion in crisis. The strongest Christian groups are fundamentalist in nature.
I think by you being one of the founding members of Asatru, that you did more right there than you could possibly have done by taking any political route, you know, because
that
by
was my thought, because I felt that we had to rebuild the people themselves. The real crux of the matter, there was a spiritual crisis. Certainly there was. If all these Westerners were going off on tangents to India and into Buddhism and other things, not that I have anything against Hinduism or have anything against Buddhism or Taoism or whatever, but at the same time, you don't have to go so far afield. We had a religion of our own 800 years ago. It was still being practiced in Europe. Buddhism had a lifespan of about 1,000 years in India, and there are no Buddhists in India today. I mean, there might be a few Buddhists, but it's not a cult. It's not a religion there anymore. It moved east out of there. It had its season, so to speak, and then everything went back to Hinduism again. So Christianity has had 800 or 900 years here in Europe, and I think it's ready to depart for somewhere else. Maybe Africa or somewhere would be a good place for it to go.
Yeah.